Alrighty. I'd like to maybe do one show a week, but sometimes I do two. And when the announcement of the Northern Soccer League was coming to Winnipeg, I had to get people on. And I'm joined today by Robert Gale, co-founder of the team that's coming to Winnipeg next year. So, I mean, exciting times, Robert, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen how the country has just gone wild for the World Cup this year. National teams are doing as good as ever, and the women's league is blossoming. We knew it was expanding, and similarly, you were like, well, okay, why not Winnipeg, right? Let's go. How do we make this a reality?
Definitely, and I mean, there's steps along the way, and like Wikipedia is my best friend with stuff like this, and I'll be honest, soccer is kind of down the totem pole for me, but I have to expand my horizons, and you've had a lot of experience in the soccer world, haven't you? And time with Valor and that sort of thing, and so what kind of you guys are going to be like the seventh team. I was watching a bit on TSN yesterday, and it seems like it's an upcoming league and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, you know what? It's exciting because obviously I was technical director in the province. I was a national team coach for the best part of a decade, working with all the youth teams right up to the Olympic team on the male side. And then more recently, after Valor and starting that team from scratch, I got to work down in the US and I saw the women's sports and how huge it is down there. And with us starting a league up here, it's always more satisfying if you're doing it in your country and in your hometown, right? So it was too good an opportunity for Desi and I not to pursue. And I think the
Mhm.
great part of the Northern Super League is it has an opportunity to be a top five women's league in the world. It's a
Right.
stated aim with the budgets, the wages they're paying, the infrastructure, the investments recently. That gives us a huge opportunity. Whereas with the Canadian Premier League on the men's side, we know we're a little lower down the totem pole and a development league. This one has the ability to do all of that plus establish itself with some top talent, which is super exciting to be a part of.
That's right. And as you're talking about it, I got the name of the league wrong. So
It's all good. Northern Super League. Northern Super
Super
League.
League. Oh. So that's good. And and this is a thing. Like Winnipeg, they've had their, we've seen this, it's always the Bombers and the Jets and then the Sea Bears. And before that it was the Thunder and the Cyclone. And we know with Valor, and it's just I think as Winnipeg is expanding and everything else, I think there is this appetite, and again, as you've alluded to here, just during the World Cup. Yeah, everybody's glued to it. Again, central when you're on the same time zone, it kind of makes it a bit easier. It's just there's something about the soccer game that's definitely intriguing, and maybe it's less expensive than hockey.
Yeah, not maybe, definitely, mate,
Yeah.
especially if you got kids in the program. But yeah, you saw Kansas. How good was that as a host city and just the sea of orange? And the beauty of soccer is it's the world's game because of its accessibility. But the newcomers to Winnipeg, they're coming from countries where soccer was their number one sport in that country.
Hmm.
And then they come to a new country and maybe hockey and football and, like you say, baseball or other things. But in terms of participation numbers, soccer is the number one now. So what that does, it allows them to form community and friends and establish themselves in the new country as newcomers or immigrants through sport. And I think
Hmm.
that's such a great thing about sport is how it brings people together. And football, as you saw this summer, brings people from all over the world.
No doubt about it, right? So with the league, with the team coming to Winnipeg, I saw that clip of you and Desiree on CTV Morning Live, just how you want fans to be in participation with it. I had that day off on Tuesday. I should have been at the Forks, but
So
just
good. We kept that one quiet a little bit.
yeah, all good. Uh, there's reasons for that, I guess, and that's all good. But my sense is really want the fans to be engaged with this team.
Yeah, look, I think, and I'm lucky. I grew up in England, in London. There's 22 professional football teams. I've been involved in the game since I was like 14 years old. All my family's involved. But There's nothing better than that community feel. What I loved about Valor the first year is we had the 7 Manitobans, and we were averaging 5,700 in the crowd that year, and it felt like 5,000 of my closest friends and the players' friends, and it was just a great time for us to all be together. And then obviously COVID hit, and it was unfortunate that the world, the league, the team sort of shut down a little bit, and then as it just started to rebound, I was gone. So
Mhm.
I think it's vital to get this team right and successful as we listen to the fan base. We realize what mistakes were made in the past, why certain teams haven't done so well, and learn from the Sea Bears. It's such a great match day experience. The venue, the activations, the music, sometimes the game, and I hate to say this, is not the main event, but there's something there for everybody. And you hope the game is a wonderful game and your team, the home team, goes home winning and scoring loads of goals. But as we know, soccer's not always like that. But you can still have a great time out at a great value price point with the whole family and
Mhm.
get some cool merch, some great food and drink, and have a good time. And I think that's what it's about. And that's what we want to make this team is. We said it before, but by Manitobans for Manitobans, and try and get some local talent on the field that we can really support.
Yeah, you talk about that game day experience. I mean, my kids like the bouncy castles and the tailgate, the bomber game. Okay, we got to do that. The flying squirrel and try to get grandma involved, and so and that didn't exist. And so yes, it is all about that. It's that full game day, why you want to be there. And again, I always say post pandemic or even in the day of social media and always on this phone, and I'm guilty of it. It's good to have that, still have that human interaction. It really is.
Best part of sport, right? The best part of sport, I say this time and time again, and everyone we're interviewing right now to fill out the front office and the players that we're going to try and bring in. Humans will not be replaced by machines in sport.
Yeah,
That will never happen. So it's one of the last great people industries. And what you want is then the fans, the volunteers, the lifeblood of support. It's about players and it's about supporters. And we're all parts of that to try and bring them together and recognize that. So that's what I love, that human interaction from game day to day training. It keeps you young, that environment, just being around people all the time.
no doubt, right? So the exposure, from my understanding, these games are on TSN, as I saw last night, ESPN, maybe.
ESPN, some of them, CBC are a great partner in English and French,
Mhm.
both on radio and television. So it's becoming more and more mainstream. They're also doing the YouTube watch parties. And one of the cool things about it, honestly, in its third year, the broadcast numbers were in the top 5 in the world. So it's not just the wages, it's not the average attendance, which is now up into the top 3 for female soccer
Right.
leagues in the world, but also those broadcasting numbers. And then with the additional sponsorships and investment, it's really established itself very quickly.
That's so good to hear, right? Again, it's always about the main four we always hear of, but you hear of these other leagues that establish themselves and create that name and make it affordable for the average person. And that's the key, right? It's always like, oh, I can't afford it. No, you can afford it, and you create these relationships,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
mean,
what
look,
it's
in
about.
especially Winnipeg, we know we've got a frugal mentality about us sometimes, and especially with everything that's going on in the world, and cost of living isn't getting any cheaper. You don't want a sticker price a shock every time you go to a restaurant or a bar or to an event. You still want to do the things with friends and family, and that's sport, that's community. I always call it. It's my church, it's my fellowship. Chance for me and 5,000 people to go and sing songs and have some fun and some self-deprecating humor, some banter to the opponent or the referees, and go home having had a good time. But it didn't cost me too many dollars.
Well, that's exactly it. I don't live in Winnipeg, but I get home in a decent hour, and I'll be honest, I told somebody the other day taking my, like, I'm a Bomber season ticket holder, and I know where this is about soccer, but I said taking my parents to a Bomber game now at the age I'm at, it's like one of the highlights of my life. And I'm
Absolutely.
not being sarcastic because they get to
Yeah.
see it, right? They get to see the cookie lady, and they get to meet the people, like, because I'm right in the same spot, and
Yeah,
it's awesome. So yeah.
that's what it's all about, man.
Mhm. Where I've been hearing rumors, and you don't have to say, um, where's this team going to be playing out of, or is that
It's
kind
good
of
that I don't have to say because I can't say right now. But what I can tell you is we're working on a purpose built modular stadium at the right size and the right solution for this team
hmm
and this league. And if you look across Canada, and it's been well documented by Diana Matheson and the league, and even recently, you've seen the Minister of Sport, you've seen the Prime Minister. Look, we're a great nation for sport. They're investing huge, but we've only got 3,000 seater stadiums or 30,000 seater stadiums.
yeah,
And there's very few in between. And what we need at this level of sport and events and other things that you can bring to a city are that 5 to 15,000. If you can do it modular and pop up, and you start small, but it has the ability to expand for cup finals, for major sporting events, for national team events, maybe some bigger cultural and music and arts and those kind of events. We're lacking that size of venue across the country. And that's what this league and especially ourselves here in Winnipeg are looking to address.
well, to that point, watching the game last night in Calgary, it's like, well, McMahon, it was that was kind of sparse, right? It's not a good look for TV. So to create that intimate setting, I mean that's key.
Yeah, I mean, forget TV for a minute. Obviously, it
Yeah,
doesn't look great because then people think, "Oh, is it well supported?" It actually is. It's good numbers, but it looks sparse. And what that does then is it doesn't create the environment you want. The
right.
beauty of soccer, and you go to the European stands, and you go to Halifax, and now Montreal, where the Roses are. You're tight. You're close to the action.
Yeah,
You can see the players sweating. You can hear them having a go at each other, and the ref. You can hear the bench. And then there's interaction between players and fans and supporters, and the songs and the atmosphere sound really
hmm
good because it's not like the Bombers,
yeah,
where the game stops every few seconds and the rum hut and the concourse and everything's going on. It's really about the game, and what you create is the songs and the atmosphere with the chants and the noise, and you're focused for 90 minutes because you know you're out in 90 minutes,
yeah.
right? So that's what it's about. And the venue and the atmosphere you create in that game day environment. And you said the word intimate, best way to put it. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And those things can happen in Winnipeg, believe it or not, people.
100%. I've heard stories about the old Alexandra Park. I've heard about the Pan Am Games in 1999.
Yes.
Canada played here, 10,000 fans crammed into Wilkes and Waverley. You know what? That's beautiful. That's what we want to try and create on a weekly or bi weekly basis here.
Yep. And everybody criticized Sam. Well, there was criticisms of the ballpark where the Gold Knights play. All of this, and that is like one of the greatest places to have a ballpark in Winnipeg. It beat the old Winnipeg Stadium. You're sitting there. I'm sitting there with my kids, and you see the skyline. You don't even feel like you're in Winnipeg. You feel like you're in, I don't know, maybe close to Field of Dreams. Maybe I don't know.
It could be anywhere though, right? It could be. It's like Boston. It's
It
like you
is
go to these, is go to St. Louis and they have the big arch, and you look across
right,
from the ballpark there and you see the Esplanade Bridge and the Canadian Museum of Human Rights,
right.
Fort Garry, Winnipeg, iconic landmarks. And though I think that's awesome. And Shore Park is so terrific for that. Right size again, good venue, easily accessible, fun to take your family to.
hmm
I think you've done a terrific job there.
Yeah, most definitely. Who have been some of your mentors and role models in your life, in
A
general
lot of,
and
I've
in
got to say,
soccer
like
sport?
my family's been huge in that. My dad coached, my elder sister and my elder brother were top level coaches, and my first ever coaches that really got me into the game. My mum played and became one of the pioneers of women's football in England. My younger sister played to a high level. Both her and my older sister played in teams that are now in the English Premier League for women.
hmm
My brother-in-law is a top coach educator and coach in England with the national youth teams. He's won two European championships, a World Cup. So I've been very fortunate to have family role models that obviously shape you in so many ways, but also in my career and they follow me and support me, always very proud of what we're trying to do, from whether it was the national team to Valor to going down to the States. And we've always tried to do things for the right reason
Yeah.
and have a bigger picture in mind than just creating a team to win today. We want to build legacy and we want to leave programs better than we found it. And so I've had very fortunate role models like that. And then some great support along the way. Look, coaching for the national team, I got to work with Sean Fleming, Patrick Tobo, Ante Jazic, Paul Stouteri, who's now the senior men's national team coach, Valerio Gazzola, Tony Fonseca was my technical director.
Mm.
Amazing. Real close work with some top national team people who've either played or coached. Stephen Hart, great friend and mentor, Tommy Wild, and people across the country. It's such a good, tight knit atmosphere. And I love coaching in the CPL because honestly, we were seven mates who were great friends before the game, great friends after, but sworn enemies for 90 minutes every week.
It's good to have those competitive juices, right? Where do you kind of see the yourself and the league in 5 years? I mean, it's this is quite the thing, and there are those people that would say, this thing's been tried before, but I think, it's just like things that were tried 30 years ago didn't work, but they can try again, and they can be
Yeah, the one
successful, right?
constant thing is change, right? Look at anybody wants to worry about how things evolve. Just look at the phone you're carrying around in your pocket and tell me that was happening 30 years ago. So, look, it's a different time. The beauty of this league, it's the first ever women's professional sports team, not just football team here, sports team. We're not competing with anyone from Calgary to Toronto to Minneapolis in any sport. That's half of our population in 2026. Every female that ever played a sport will come out and support this. Every young female who wants to be involved in professional sport will come out and support this. And what I do know from being in the States and watching the women's game, it's not just for the females. The young boys are wearing female jerseys.
Yeah.
The men in the community want to come out and they want to see top level. And that's what the Northern Super League, the NSL, provides. It's top level international talent. We'll have 10 internationals in our roster next year, and you get to see a high level. And if there's anything you know about Winnipeg and why do we like the CFL? Because it's the top league in this country
Right,
for football.
right.
Why do we like the NHL? It's the top league there is for hockey in North America.
Hmm.
Why are we going to love the NSL? Because it is tier one top league, top players from all over the world coming to play, including some of our own Canadian internationals like Desiree Scott. So women's sports is on an absolute movement. It's a business, it's an industry that is growing beyond anyone's expectations in the last few years. And we're just proud and privileged to be able to bring the first one to Winnipeg because PWHL and basketball and WNBA and all of that are looking at different markets and expanding. And Winnipeg is going to prove that we are a great market.
Well, and to that point, right? The women's hockey league came here for that game a few months, and it was packed. It was jam
Huge.
packed, right? And people like the Christine St. Clairs and the Caitlin Clarks and all these guys, all these women, it's like no, they can do it, and actually, they can actually put some guys to shame, to be honest,
No doubt about it.
right? And
And
so,
I was lucky to work with the Christine Sinclairs, Becky Sarah-Brands of this world, Olivia
mm,
Moultrie, Sophia Wilson's top level talent.
yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things again where that pendulum has swung, and it's um I and we see this even in football, in the other football, and
Yeah,
one of my daughter's friends is featured on Steinbach Online about how she's in this football league, and I'm like, holy smokes! Like you just take a minute there, you're like, wow, this is crazy.
yeah, it's
Uh,
brilliant.
it's big. And it's not just this stereotypical. It's broadened, and I think it's an exciting time for Winnipeg. And as much as people, kind of look down on Winnipeg, I think Winnipeg is actually the place to be.
Look, Desiree and myself have probably spent the last 20 years flying that flag. On me, the male side, Des on the female side, all the way up to the world and Olympic stage. And we've gone, to Europe, CONCACAF, the States, plied our trade down there. And like you say, people kind of, it's an easy target, it's a soft target, Winnipeg, but we defend it everywhere we go and we believe in it thoroughly. We think it's a terrific city, multicultural, diverse, so welcoming, so friendly, great place to live, raise a family. I've got two daughters, me and my wife and her son. We love Winnipeg and constantly
Yeah.
want to support it and showcase it. And this is a great opportunity for all of us to show the women's sporting world what a great city we are.
Yeah, it's a, it just when you made the announcement, it just didn't make like national news. When I made the Facebook post, a guy from New York who I've had on, he liked it. And then I said, oh, these games are shown on ESPN. It's like, okay, well, this makes sense, right? Like Winnipeg is on that. Uh, you know, it's more than the Winnipeg Jets putting that, LeBron James is coming. It's
Yeah.
it's here. It's a known commodity, and I think not to beat a dead horse too much, but you know what? These are good times and exciting times.
We couldn't agree more. As my jersey says, it's history in the making. We're
History in the
excited.
making.
We're excited to be a part of it.
So I know the time limit you gave me. I just got to ask you, and again, I can always have you on for part two or whatever, but do you sometimes pinch yourself when you're say like you're the co-owner of this team, like you're like, and you got other stuff going on too? I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah. You know what? I've always been a guy, and people will tell you I try and enjoy my day today. Nothing is guaranteed in life. Tomorrow certainly isn't. And I've tried to live my life that way. And
Mhm.
we look at things, myself, my wife, my family, and we're doers. We want to
Yeah.
give back. We want to make things happen. And some
Right.
people spend their life sitting on the sidelines or talking about what they might want to do. I choose to live a different way and try and make things happen and hopefully make an impact in our community and leave things a little bit the better. Sometimes it's the Desiree and I tried even on the day. We said let's just give each other a little nod and a little smile because we've been discussing it for 2 years. And then when it got finally announced, you get a bit emotional and you have
Hmm.
to take the time to enjoy that
Yeah.
and say, yeah, you know what? This is pretty cool.
Right.
And I often joke, I always say my job is better than working for a living. I get to do something I love every day with some of the greatest people and like minded individuals. And like I say, getting to work with players and coaches, males, females, it doesn't matter. They keep you young, they keep you energized. You feel like you've got something exciting to get out of bed for every day. And I just think that's a fantastic way to live. And I'm very, very privileged and very grateful for everything that
Hmm.
I have going on in my life.
Yeah. Very, very well said. I think I think we'll kind of leave it there. I don't know if you had anything else for me, but this has been good, and hope you have a great weekend and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, no, pleasure going on. And to anyone who's out there listening, send them to wpgnsl.ca. They can get their season deposits in right now. It's only $50. The tickets are going to be great value. The average ticket price in the league is around $25. There'll be $25 to $50 tickets. And if you get in and put your deposit in now, you can secure your spot in a stadium, which isn't going to have all of the seats in the world. There's going to be limited availability when that comes around. So get
Right.
in on day one. You're on history in the making. Visit our socials, guess the team name, draw the mascot, get involved, reach out to us. We want the whole community behind us all over Manitoba. And we appreciate you having us on and supporting us.
Awesome. Good deal. Yeah. Do it, guys. This is great. I can't wait for 2027.
Awesome.
It's gonna be hot in Winnipeg.
Appreciate it.
It'll be
And we
good
look forward to seeing you soon.
for sure. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.
Awesome.